Welcome, everybody, to another live recording of the Business Travel 360 Linking the Travel Industry podcast, where we discuss travel industry news you are talking about on LinkedIn. My name is Rian, and I'm one of your hosts today. I'm a co-founder at Agentivity, where we do amazing things with the booking data flowing through a TMC. And if that sounds of interest, please get in touch. As usual, I'm joined by Anne and Ash to help me talk through the stories. Over to you, Anne.
Thank you so much. Welcome, everyone. I'm Anne. I'm an independent consultant with LeapShift and happy to help you with anything related to NDC, order management, retailing. Over to you, Ash.
Hi, everyone. My name is Ash, and I'm the host of a weekly business travel podcast called What's Up in Business Travel, where we give you only the important updates in under 15 minutes. Additionally, I'm the Vice President of Client Success at Traxo, and this is Linking the Travel Industry.
So as I mentioned, the format of this discussion is about the most engaging travel industry posts that happened last week on LinkedIn. First story that stood out for us was around the OTA Webjet in Australia that was fined a $9 million, and I assume it's Aussie dollars, fine after they've admitted to making false and or misleading statements between 2018 and 2023, where they've advertised airfares that excluded compulsory fees. So, Anne, I'm going to come to you for comment. And did you see the story before I posted about it? And what did you make of it?
I find it fascinating. This still goes on. I mean, I think my entire career and working in this industry, that this is something that we've been struggling with. And I just don't really get it, why it still happens and why you let it go as far as Webjet. What are your thoughts, Ash?
Well, the part that intrigued me most about this is when they said that there were 118 flight bookings that were not confirmed yet. I think that in the travel industry, like you said, we've come so far that we don't do these kind of things. And the fact that here you have a company like Webjet that's actually continuing on with some of the shenanigans. And I don't know what's causing them to have these scenarios occurring. Is it intentional? Is it just oversight? I don't know. If you're going to have over 100 flight bookings not have been confirmed, but you're taking in payment, it sounds like there's a technical glitch going on.
Oh, yes, there was a NATS, National Air Traffic Service, meltdown, according to the news there in the UK. It happened one day last week for a bit, and I see Clive Rutten was on the news there talking to GBT News. They did experience a system failure. It did cause disruption. They did address it. They did fix it. Any further comments there, Ash?
All I have to say is that you guys have the same problems, it seems like. So, so I guess things are not that much better over there, you know?
I think in our case, somebody tripped over a cable or accidentally unplugged something to plug in a coffee machine or something like that. It's going to be something silly like that. I think so. As usual, at this point in the show, we turn to the audience just to say thank you for giving us your time on a Monday. We have a new feature, guys. We can get people to call us in and stay anonymous, even if they want. It would be nice to hear from you. First of all, where you are listening in from, which city. This is working.
Who is this?
Caller number one. Please state your name.
Oh, my. This is David Stadden from Abu Dhabi.
Very nice.
Oh, very nice. Hi, David. That's great.
And how are you? It's been our first time on the shows.
Oh, I'm really well, thanks. How are you? Good to hear you.
Good to hear y'all as well.
Excellent. So this worked.
Rian, David is caller number one for all of eternity on this
There
show.
we go. You get the T-shirt, David. Thank you so much. Thank you, David.
I like Kenneth's comment there. At least it's not a telemarketer.
Can you imagine? Now, I see somebody else calling us.
Hello, this is Ash. I'm done with the shenanigans. Let's move on with the stories.
Yes.
Let's move on.
Oh, dear.
Anyway, that's a feature we will explore a bit. Yeah, see what we can do with that, guys. So I just wanted to drop that. Anyway, let's get back to the news. So a story that popped up that won the most engaged post of the week was by Felix Spielman, and he was a bit skeptical about the, let's call it, full function, all inability of agentic AI to make booking reservations end to end. His post was just mulling around a bit. He was skeptical. He was just talking about the fact that travel is the most expensive and emotionally loaded purchase people can make. Obviously not corporate travel flying on Ryanair, but there we go. And, he was just going on about the fact that real value for those kind of searches are going to be with real people. This was an interesting post. It reached a lot of comments and reactions, etc. And also I added the point that we shouldn't forget that the real value of your agent is not in making the reservation. It's in what they do for you afterwards, especially in corporate travel. But this was an interesting post. And what did you make of it?
I think it's the same story every time, isn't it? When we talk about new technology or, it doesn't matter what it is, if it's retailing, whatever, we always end up in these discussions like, oh, no, it's not going to be, I see enormous value because I think that it's like you say, the value is not in the reservation itself. I see huge value in bringing out, can you list the 10 hotels that have the view of, it's remarkable how you can reduce the time spent on something. And I really think we should embrace that and be thankful that we have this capability.
I've got a few comments to make on that one, but before I do, Ash, what did you make of this?
I actually like this post quite a bit because it was very thought-provoking and intriguing, and it made you think a little bit. And I'm with Anne on this one. I agree with what she just said, which is that the technology is going to enhance a lot of what we do. And then at the end, it comes down to what value you're offering that technology is not creating. So I think there lies the biggest issue in the industry. It's that crossroad of, what am I doing? Am I going to fight this technology, which is traditionally what we've done? The industry has always traditionally fought the new technologies because they see it as a threat as opposed to a benefit. And so they're going to be that 25% that are going to embrace it, the 50 or so percent that are going to say, I'm not sure what I want to do, and the other 25% are going to totally reject it and push back against it. Like anything, whether it's online booking, which sounds so silly to even talk about that with AI, this is a new way of doing things. Let's get on board. It's not going to happen that way.
No. And speaking of which, why can't we drop the online from online booking? Why can't we just say it's a booking?
As long as there's going to be an agent fee and an online fee, Rian, you're always going to have that happen.
Yeah, but one of the key things to consider is we need to be aware of who is answering your question. That question that you ask about the hotels with the 10 hotels with a view of X. Verification of that data and who answers that question is going to be very important. It's not any different from when you do a Google search today, which results are pushed in front of you. It's not random. There's a big business behind that. And so, there's something that we need to be aware of there. The big message for me is if you're not taking part, you're not going to be in those results. There's that to consider as well.
Well, and I think we're going to get back to the same conversation, which is that I don't expect any travel company to be able to answer those kind of questions. It's going to come from the big names of Google and Amazon and what have you out there, right? That's where those questions will be answered. But then the focus of the industry will always be, once you get that answer, come book it with me.
Absolutely.
And so we're doing exactly what we've done always, which is look there, search there, get your answer there, but then come book with me. So the traveler is just going to be using more technology outside of the TMCs. And getting their answers and then coming back to the TMC because they'll be forced to book in that scenario.
Okay, now staying on topic, second post that I found quite tongue-in-cheek and a bit funny was Jeff Klee asking if he should be thanking his AI bots for the results. So when you ask that question, which 10 hotels have a view of this? And they says, here you are. He just feels compelled because it saved him so much time. But there was a comment that, and this is the reason why I did this post, is that takes extra computing power, therefore consumes more electricity and water and all sorts of other resources. And therefore, it's not the best thing to do, but he is just polite. But Anne, come on, this is admit your habits session. Do you say thank you to your...
I already have commented and said that I do say thank you and that I echo what Sean O'Neill says, that all of this is going to be more powerful and own us anyway, so we might as well be polite.
Exactly. They're going to remember.
They're going to remember. At least Anne was polite.
Ash, do you say thank you or not?
I don't know if I say thank you every time, but I definitely appreciate, and I don't say bad things because I know that they remember. Like
they will come back to you.
It's better to be on the good side of this whole process than the bad side. But a lot of it is just human nature. And I actually had this random conversation yesterday, Andrea, about this very topic at a restaurant. I was waiting for a table, and there was this guy that was sitting there waiting with me. And I don't know how we started talking, but we started to discuss how all these manual processes will become automated one day. And so waiting for a table and all those kind of little things. And so he started to talk about this. And then we started talking about politeness. And we talked about how robots are going to expect us to be nice to them, because just like a human expects us to be nice to them, why not, right? I mean, a human is building these robots with human intentions, and they want to get the robot as close to humanity as possible. Well, there's going to be this need to say thank you.
I have a theory. You need to treat your AI robot like a cat. It doesn't expect you to say thank you, and it really doesn't care, but it's going to remember whether you were nice to it or not. So there we go.
I'd rather be a dog than a cat person.
Yeah, sure. But the dog wants you to say thank you. What I do, though, when I get good results is I do feedback and say, that's a great result. So, and I think that helps as well, because I think they log that as well. So those were the stories on my list. Now, I know there's a few extra stories. And you want to go first?
Sure. I posted on this about Amadeus and Google, which I thought was the biggest news of the week. I seem to be one of the few people who think that is really big.
You do, yeah.
Because Amadeus have now said that they're going to use QPX flight search from Google for Nevio rather than FlexPricer. And I thought this was huge. So I did a post on this. We are a few who obviously think this is very, very interesting. And does that mean that Amadeus is actually going to replace, maybe phasing out FlexPricer and MasterPricer technology?
And what about Google and Sabre?
Yeah. There is a very strong relationship. I mean, there's also investment stuff and what have you. They're very, very closely liaised. Will this mean that we will have, the god of shopping, the omni shopping for all of it is going to be Google? I found that very interesting.
Yeah, it does relate to that post I want to do about, who's giving you the answer.
But again, I mean, shopping, as we all know, is very broken. It hasn't been modernized in over 30 years. We know that the excess transactions, and especially with NDC that we've talked about, it's almost like it's beyond repair, right?
Yeah.
So something needs to be done.
And then, I mean, speaking of something that's broken, is the shortest route from Lisbon to Frankfurt via New York, is it? According to Lufthansa, it is.
So it's very, very interesting. It's a very funny article about that Lufthansa offered two options. It's actually a passenger traveling from Lisbon to Finland, and albeit a rather remote place in Finland. But anyway, they suggested that the passenger travels via Newark. And of course, that is quite hilarious. And then they gave the passenger another option to go from Lisbon to Munich, and then only God knows how to get from Munich to Augsburg and take a train to Frankfurt and then fly to Kusamo is the place.
Try and flex price that one.
And actually, that is the problem. Again, actually, shopping is the root of the problem here.
Yes.
Because it takes the destination into consideration. It doesn't take the surroundings around the destination into consideration.
Yeah.
Because, of course, it's much better to fly into Helsinki or Oulu or, these places and then go by train.
You've got one more mention. Profits.
I mean, for those who didn't, but actually what I wanted to say to you guys, I read yet again the amazing results for Amadeus and how much they've increased and the profits were up, by 11%. I mean, there seems to be no end at, how much more money Amadeus can make. But what I thought was very interesting in that article was that their investment for R&D for the first half of 2025, they said, they're allocating 700 million euros. And I thought that was pretty low. I mean, Flyer gets 700 and, something million left, right, and center, right? Your thoughts on that?
I don't think it's low. I think there's a lot of money for R&D.
Oh, of course it's a lot of money. They make more money than anybody else.
Okay, fair enough. But that's why. They don't blow all their money on R&D. That's correct. So, Ash, did you have any extra stories or any comments on what Anne just mentioned?
I did want to say that there was this other mention of Excelia joining the partnership with MXGBT and Sabre this past week as well.
Oh, really?
So that was really interesting because MXGBT and Sabre had decided to work together, but now they brought in Excelia to join them in that, I guess, fight or improvement or whatever it is that they're doing. So that was interesting. I think they needed somebody like Excelia. And I know, Anne, you did an interview with Ty, and so that intrigued me that there was some movement here. And he did talk about how in your interview with him, when they started talking about all of these things, that they did not have a TMC partner. So is this their way of recovering from that? And is that kind of how that's going to play out?
That is for the NDC piece, right?
Yes.
That they're partnering up with Excelia. Yeah, it's very interesting.
So I think that does wrap us. We managed to get our call-in feature working. So thank you for those joining us today and giving us your time. We appreciate it. Thanks for all the comments and for David for calling in. We appreciate that. Over to you, Anne.
Thanks, everyone. And thank you for all your comments. Over to you, Art.
All right. Thank you all for joining today's live recording of Linking the Travel Industry. Please do share this event with others that you know. Chances are high that if you enjoyed today's session, others that you know will as well. If you ever miss a show because of time zone or availability, we make the podcast available on businesstravel360.com. This is Linking the Travel Industry signing off.